Hey folks, how you doing? My name's Dave. I'm a software developer. I've been playing around with software for the last 25 years. I've worked for the oil companies, the drug companies as a consultant, so forth. I've seen a lot of stuff. Anyway, one of the things that you have to learn about SQL or any kind of SQL is that you have to know analytical functions. In other words, if you want to get a job that's primarily doing SQL queries, you have to know analytical functions or you won't get the job. It's all they care about because they know if you understand analytical functions, you pretty much know all the other stuff. And what are analytical functions? Well, they're these functions that help you to look at the data in amazing and sophisticated ways without writing a lot of code. Let's get started. Here's a simple employee table, okay? What we've got here, and by the way, I have everything up here and down here in the results grid in a 14-point font so that you guys should be able to see it easily. It won't be all scrunched down. We've got an employee field, a salary field, a department, and a gender. Typical. I mean, there could have been a hire date and a few more things. And by the way, gender and even department could have been lookup fields. It could have been a foreign key. But this is just an example. And the employee table is just an easy way to do this. Anyway, what would happen if your boss or your customer or whoever it is looks at this data and says, I want to rank everybody from the highest salary to the lowest salary? Well, how would you do that? Well, there's an easy way to do it. I mean, I can order this by salary, and that would show it to them. But they want another field over here that says, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they want to call it rank. Okay? All you have to do is use this piece of code. Now, when I say rank over here, that's just naming the field, of course. It turns it pink because it's a keyword. But rank over here, this is an analytical function. And these are some of the pieces to it. You have to use the word over. That is going to look strange at first, okay? It's going to look strange, but just bear with it. And then you have this part. This is the first part of the magic. We'll talk about the rest of the magic in the second part of this video. But anyway, order by salary descending. Well, we could have done that here, without using that. But here's what's cool about this. And here's what's special about rank. If I do this and I hit execute, see, look what it does. It starts the numbering from 1 and then it goes 3, 4, 5. But if you notice something, there's a tie for first place. Two people make the same amount of money, so it gave them both a rank of 1. It's like they tied for first place in a marathon. But now, this third person, Gerple Purple, or is it Gerply Purply? Nobody knows. They have they're the third record, so they get a rank of 3. See, what rank does is it skips over the number 2 if two people occupy the first place, if that makes any sense. It goes 1, 1, and then it jumps to 3 because this really is the third person from the top. So that's how rank works. It can have holes in it. It goes 1, 1, 3. But you may have somebody that says, no, that's no good. We can't skip over it. Well, then we have dense rank. So basically, this is what we just looked at. Dense rank is just another function. It behaves very similar to rank, except that dense rank, it doesn't leave holes. So here's the difference. Let me rerun this, or run this. So you notice here, whereas rank, because there's a tie, rank goes 1, 1, 3, which some people may feel is more accurate. But dense rank goes 1, 1, 2. There's no holes. See, this uses every number, whereas this will skip over numbers. So this is like cheddar cheese, and this is like Swiss cheese. But here's the thing that you have to realize, okay? What you have to realize is that neither way is the more correct or the more right way. It's just what the end user wants. Whether it's a customer, or if you're the end user, or if it's your boss or manager, or the president of whatever. It just matters how they want it. Now here's the reality. When you're talking to somebody about this information, if they're not a developer, if they're just some kind of manager or project manager or pencil pusher, you're gonna explain this to them both ways, and I can tell you right now, they're gonna have a blank look on their face. Or they may make a snap decision and then they'll have you change it after everything's done. Or, and this is where you're going to start laughing, they'll say, let me think about it. And they never get back to you. But then they ask for a status a week later and you're like, you never gave me an answer. So here's what you do. If you want to be smart and if you want to look really smart like a hero, give them the information both ways. Don't expect them to know which way they're going to want it because they're not going to know. And then they'll change their mind 10 times. So give them the information both ways. Like if you're just going to give them a printout of all this, now that they can see the difference between rank 113 and 112, let them look at this, not like think about it for 10 seconds when you ask them, but let them get their Starbucks, stare at the information, play around, take some Sharpies and highlighters and do their thing, and then they can tell you what they want. They may end up wanting it both ways, but no matter what, you look like a hero. Oh, except for one problem. The minute they see this, they're going to be like, this isn't really what we wanted. It's what they told you they wanted, but it's not really what they wanted. And you know what's coming next. They're going to want this not by the whole company, but they're really going to want it by the department. In other words, they want to see who's the highest paid in each department, and they want it broken down like that. Now, you can do that. You can make 7 or 8 different data set or result sets, where you could say, like where department equals or depth, where depth equals sales, and then where depth equals legal, and where department equals software. But that's going to be kind of kludgy. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to just, again, with just 2 lines of code, to do this whole thing, but granularize it by the department? And there is. And it's called partition by. Before we look at partition by, this is just an aside. These functions are called analytical functions. They are also called window functions. But if I may, all window functions are certainly analytical functions, but not all analytical functions are necessarily window functions. It's not truly, in a meaningful way, it's not a window function until we use partition by. And I'll show you that in a second. So let's go to this last query window. And I want to show you this. This is the line we just looked at, one of the lines we just looked at. It says rank over, and then order by salary descending, and then we named it rank. Well, here, in this next line, the only thing that's different, I added this magical piece called partition by department. And what this is going to do is it's not only going to sort by the department name in the results, but it's going to do something really cool with rank. So let me show you that. And this is really sweet. Okay, so let me do this. See, now what happens is advertising. So, we've got 1, 1, 3, 4. Because in advertising, the first 2 people happen to tie for first place as well. Okay, just like when we looked at the whole company. And then the dense rank goes 1, 1, 2, 3, as we would expect. But notice what happens when we get to cafeteria. It starts over. Starts over. And wow, somebody in the cafeteria makes more than somebody in advertising. I guess there's money in food. And then when we get to HR, same thing. It starts over again. Legal, it starts over again. Now I want you to understand something. Think of this chunk as a window. Nothing to do with Windows, the operating system. Nothing to do with the window in your office. Oh, you don't have a window in your office? Well, this is why you want to follow this video so you get a better job, get a better office. This over here is another window. This is a window. This is a window. Because what it's doing is it's running the rank in this little partition, which is also called a window. Don't think of this as a window. That's 2 windows. That's a window. Now, technically, you can say here that this whole thing going all the way down is a window, but that's kind of stupid. That's like not really meaningful. But that's a window. That's a window. That's why when you use partition by, it really meaningfully speaking is a window function. But even without it, the whole thing, these are still analytical functions. But just one last thing, folks, even just here, think of all the code you would have to write to do all of this. Think of all the code that you would have to write if you didn't have these functions. You'd have to have temp tables, you'd have to loop through stuff, then you'd have to be doing inserts, you'd have to have extra fields, you'd have to have logic, like if the last record was this, and it's nonsensical. I have a video that shows how to do this. If I remember, I'll link it at the end. It's 53 minutes long. But I could do a video like this. If I'm not explaining everything, I could blow through it in like 3 minutes. So the thing is, these things save you so much time, and this is just two of them. And then when you add partition by isn't its own analytical function. It's an option in analytical functions. But these are just two of them. There's a bunch of them, and you have to know these. But not only that, you don't have to just understand them, but you have to know how to write them if you're on an interview. So you have to get so used to the syntax. But the thing is, if you play around with this, you should have no trouble getting along with this, and you have to know them for the interview. So anyway, folks, thank you for paying attention. If you feel like this video was helpful, please consider clicking the like button. Also, we try to come out with several videos per week, so you might even want to think of subscribing. And if you really enjoyed it, feel free to leave a comment. I read every comment, and I respond to them. So thank you so much for your time, and please go get a really nice, high-paying SQL job. Thank you.